I'm rolling if you guys are.
Yep.
Can you give us your first and last name and spell them both, please?
Yes, Captain Kimberly Ragsdale, PIO with Phoenix Fire, KIMBERLY RAGSDALE.
So can you kind of give us a summary of what happened yesterday and any updates that you might have?
Yes, absolutely. Crews were called out to a propane yard for reports of a fire. They got there, they saw large propane tanks on fire, and then also the little 5-gallon tanks that were exploding at this point. So crews attacked it from all sides of the area. We evacuated the area, we isolated the area, and denied entry, making sure that life safety was our #1 priority on scene, keeping the citizens safe, and then also our crew members.
Maybe if you look right about here, we're getting a harsh reflection from outside when you look that far over.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Looks much better.
Well, can we, in that case, can we have you guys come to the middle here?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. This way, yeah, because every time you turn, your glasses are getting the outside.
Gotcha, okay. You want me to take the glasses off?
Nope.
Okay.
Captain Ragsdale, can you say a cause of the fire at this moment?
At this time, our investigators are still on scene working to determine a cause, and that'll take several hours, maybe even into the day, and maybe even into tomorrow. They're going to be working throughout the week to determine a cause.
Is the business cooperating?
Absolutely. Everybody is cooperating with the investigation.
How is fighting this fire more dangerous and different than fighting just a typical building fire?
So this fire presented a different sort of danger to us as well as the citizens around the area, living in the area, and then those occupancies around the fire, because we had an added layer of hazmat. So the propane tanks, right, they were exploding. They were going several hundred yards away and into different parking lots and businesses, so that was a concern to us. That's why we decided very early to evacuate the area, isolate it, and deny any entry into the premise.
And this has raised concerns for folks that have propane tanks when they go out and use their barbecue or for barbecue purposes. Should they be doing something differently?
So the best thing to do is keep your propane tank in the shade, if at all possible. Keep it away from any structures, so away from your home. Keep it on a solid surface, so either concrete or pavement, and then even better than that is to hang it on your barbecue, on the hanger that is installed on most barbecues. You just want to keep it in a safe location in a cool area. So we kind of push those temperatures here in Phoenix. Most propane tanks are rated for 120 degrees. And we're getting hotter and hotter in the valley. We've had a lot of days where our temperatures have been 118. So we push that temperature. So we recommend making sure that the propane tanks are stored in the shade and away from any structures.
And, we've gotten to 118, 119. If those propane tanks aren't elevated and away from structures and they're on concrete or asphalt, the likelihood of temperatures going upwards of that, can easily double, right? So is there a possibility for that propane tank to explode just based on heat?
They do have a relief valve. It's hard to determine if that's what was the case at this incident, but like I said, they are rated for around 120 degrees. And so it's just hard to say exactly what happened, and we won't know until our investigators determine the cause.
Would it be a better recommendation to tell residents to keep the propane tanks inside with this record-breaking heat wave?
So we don't want to keep propane tanks inside. We want to keep them outside, just like I said, on a solid surface in the shade and away from any structures. So meaning you don't want to bring them inside as well.
And how many cars were damaged?
We're going to say upwards of a dozen right now. There could be possibly more. There could be less. It's hard to say right now until our investigators are done determining a cause and all the damage that they're able to look at and check and see how many cars were damaged.
Not only do you guys have to deal with flying propane tanks at this fire, right, and a lot of heat coming from this fire, but also you're dealing with 119-degree temperature. So how does the Phoenix Fire Department go into situations like this, knowing that heat will fatigue those crews on scene? So
absolutely, this fire was very challenging for our crews. We are used to working in the heat. Our firefighters get acclimated to the temperatures. They prepare by hydrating the night before and even weeks and days before. And we like to do recycling and rehab of our crews, meaning that we let crews work for around 20 minutes, pull them out, check their vital signs, and make sure they are rested and rehydrated before going in or even exchanging them with a new crew.
So just this month was the 50-year anniversary of the propane fire in Kingman, where 11 firefighters died. Did you guys, I mean, I'm not sure if you know that going into it, but I mean, knowing that that anniversary happened just this month and then this happened, kind of spooky, but how does that weigh on crews' minds heading into this kind of fire?
Anytime we go on any hazmat call, that's in the back of our mind, and safety is at the forefront of what Phoenix Fire does. We're always prepared for any sort of hazmat situation like this. We're careful of anything having any propane tank having a BLEVE, which is a boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion. So we're always cautious. That's why we evacuated the area. We kept our distance. We set up elevated master streams to best combat this fire.
Are there any updates to injuries? Last check, there were no injuries, but any firefighters or
Correct. There's no injuries at this time. There's no firefighters that were overcome by the heat, and there's no citizens that we have determined have injuries from this.
Was there any additional damage outside of that structure in the cars, maybe neighboring homes or neighboring cars?
At this time, the investigators are still working to determine if any surrounding structures were involved other than the parking lot structure, and that will be given. That information will be given at a later point.
Captain Ragsdale, would you characterize it as lucky that nobody was hurt? I mean, this was a pretty serious fire, and again, we had propane tanks that were flying around like missiles that were going very far away.
Right, it is a dangerous, volatile situation. When propane tanks are exploding and flying everywhere, it is very dangerous, but I think it's a strategic decision that the Phoenix Fire Department put in place to evacuate, isolate, and deny entry, keeping its citizens safe, and then also us firefighters are prepared and trained for these type of incidents.
You talked to us a little bit about evacuations. I know you guys did some evacuations in the area, right? At what point in the fire do you guys determine that the area needs to be evacuated?
So we determined that the area needs to be evacuated when it's unsafe for anybody to be in. So we had smoke. We're worried about smoke inhalation, and then we have flying debris. We have pieces of propane tanks going in all different directions. So it was very well aware to us that the area needed to be evacuated.
Did you guys have a plan with this specific business or any business that has this kind of fuel on their property about, hey, this is the action plan if there is a fire?
Phoenix Fire is notorious for pre-planning. All the crews and engine companies pre-plan their first due area, and so we're very well aware of what is in our area and how to mitigate an incident if something occurs at a specific property, such as this propane tank facility.
Lastly, we have an estimation about the amount of people that were dispatched to work this fire, and if any came from this firehouse?
Yes, command made the decision to go to a fourth alarm fire on this, so that means that there was approximately 150 to 175 firefighters working on this fire.
Do you think they came from this firehouse?
We have firefighters from the city of Phoenix. We also had surrounding areas with our mutual aid getting involved in fighting the fire.
Okay, but we just don't know if they were dispatched from this area or not.
I believe they were, yes. With the fourth alarm, we're going to pull in all resources from the surrounding areas, and the most closest units will arrive on the scene first before, say, a north side unit.
Outside of the heat and the propane that the firefighters were facing, you can look right down in the middle. What do you feel your greatest challenges were yesterday fighting a fire of this magnitude?
So it was a large area, and then we had the flying propane tanks, we had the heat, we had high winds. So all of those factors were very challenging for us and just created an extra layer and an extra dynamic for us to have to mitigate.
Do we know when that business was last inspected and if it's had violations for fire safety in the past?
So the Phoenix Fire Department's fire prevention team is always going out doing inspections on properties. That information we are working to gather, and it should be gathered within the next few weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.